Howdy, y'all, and welcome to the Join Dota League Season 4 American Division 1-2 lower bracket semifinals, if I'm not mistaken. Both teams are going to be fighting in a best of three to have a chance to be in Division 1 for Season 5. It is going to be Team versus Leviathan. As for your casters, I'm Grandis Feet, and I'll be joined by Mike Loris.
Yeah, if I understand it correctly, already there's two teams that are qualified for Division One, and they're just looking for one more. So there are not not a high chance for either of these two teams to really get there. But you know what, Leviathan, Thundercats, they're certainly powerful enough to actually get it done. Even though Thundercats pretty much wearing exclusively stand-in tags, I'm pretty sure most of those players are actually on the team.
Yeah, I think this is their full lineup, even though I think they're using the wrong team tag, at least for Join Dota League. They have been running under the team name, and had an 18-0 sweep inside their group, definitely deserving to be a little bit higher than Division 2.
And we'll see if they can get to Division One. It is, of course, very highly sought after, and we see right off the bat some respect. The Jenkins offlane pudge, it's a thing, and it is a very good thing as well. But that's still going to leave some very powerful heroes in the pool that Leviathan, I'm sure, will be comfortable with. Juggernaut instantly responded to with the Lion.
Yeah, and already we're going to see Brewmaster as well, picked up by Thundercats with Scarlet Mage in the pool. Leviathan might consider picking that up, but already a lot of heroes that are very powerful in the current metagame. They'll pick up the Centaur Warrener for Jenkins, presumably.
Yeah, so they got their offlane, they got a Juggernaut. Stampede Juggernaut is actually pretty legit. You just hug them and you pretty much never let go. But Thundercats, Lion, Brewmaster, it's a pretty solid opening, and it's something that Leviathan are going to have to answer through crowd control, and through crowd control that is probably going to be it's going to have to be a little bit faster than the likes of Centaur Stomp. It's reasonable if you get the surprise on the Brewmaster, but they really would like to have something that's a little bit more point click and for sure going to land on the Brew to shut down his spellcasting. Even Lion to a lesser extent, you really need to shut him down and shut him up if you're going to be killing him off convincingly.
Yeah, I expect the Scarlet Mage to be banned out by Thundercats, as it works really well with the Juggernaut and the Centaur both, and well up against the Brewmaster too. Batrider's going to be taken out by Leviathan, trying to make sure that they have at least some sort of initiation supremacy.
And that's a reasonable way to go for now. And Tidehunter already has been banned out by Leviathan, so they're looking very much so towards the initiating power of their team. And, you know, of course, the early game fighting as well. Whenever you pick up a Juggernaut and a Centaur, you're going to be able to brawl very early on. And TC through the Brewmaster will be able to meet that some of the time, but definitely not all of the time. We'll see what the supports are going to be for the Leviathan side. They might want to run Support Juggernaut. It's been experimented with at the very least, and it really comes down to the team. And I'm not sure if Leviathan are one of those teams that think the Support Juggernaut is a thing.
I think it definitely does work in certain lineups, but you kind of have to build them around the healing ward. Right now, Juggernaut's just so strong in lane, it kind of does give up a little bit of the hero's potential if you run him as a support. We'll just have to see what the game plan is going to be. It is on the table at the very least.
Well, Leviathan, they're taking their sweet time, actually. They should be looking for supports, as I said, so I'm sure Thundercats considering. Right now, the Scarlet Mage ban is, it's actually the Doom to be taken out. I mean, Doom is pretty good versus Juggernaut. Batrider is as well, but I don't really know if it's worth taking out these two heroes in order to protect their Juggernaut purely. Maybe they're going to look towards heroes that require a little more mobility, but that's already going up against Lion, so not entirely sold on this Doom pickup, or Doom ban, rather.
Yeah, I think it is a little bit peculiar. More than anything is annoying to play up against, I suppose, and maybe they're looking to pick up supports that wouldn't be able to punish a Doom, even if they threw him towards the jungle.
Well, it's Queen of Pain, so Queen of Pain, Viper, and Thundercats actually showing quite a bit of respect towards the mid lane of Leviathan, which I guess, to be fair, Leviathan do still need. But assuming Brewmaster is going mid, and I think that's probably a safe assumption, then Brew should be fine versus Queen of Pain. Like, that's not really a terribly huge deal. And the Scarlet Mage is actually going to be picked up by Thundercats instead of banned out. So that's reasonable as well. You silence Juggernaut and then you Finger of Death him, and it's good times from there.
It is. Ancient Apparition going to be the choice for Leviathan. A decent amount of aggressive potential coming up from both sides, but as you already mentioned, the magic nuke damage coming up from these two supports of Thundercats is pretty absurd. They'll also snag up the puck. A lot of control coming out from these first four. They definitely need something a little bit harder hitting for the late game in their fifth, but still, these first four heroes are pretty self-sufficient come mid as well as the early game.
You got the Puck for the offlane, Brewmaster mid, Scarth Mage, and Lion, of course, have to be supporting and protecting someone, and who that someone is, of course, is not yet revealed to us. Leviathan, though, with the Ancient Apparition, I mean, it's a fine support hero and everything, but so far, no synergy really at all for the hero, and you're not going to be shutting down any healing from the Thundercat side if you're the AA. You're also not going to be set up for a fantastic Chilling Touch game yet. I mean, Juggernaut can get there, but right now it's not looking like it, so Ancient Apparition needs to be built around a little bit more, I think.
Definitely. As far as what that's going to mean, it's going to be a Rubik pickup for Leviathan. He can set up for a lot of Chilling Touch damage and a lot of killing potential in combination with the Ancient Apparition, but still it kind of feels like AA for the sake of AA.
And that's fine. Like Rubik, AA, Juggernaut, that's a pretty dangerous lane. You get something to actually disable the enemies while Juggernaut has a chance to spin. And it's a pretty sick combination, actually. Rubik Juggernaut is all you need there, but adding an AH Apparition to that mix, it just adds that little bit of extra damage and probably will for sure be enough to kill out the likes of Scarth Mage Lion. Killing those heroes off is a cakewalk. Maybe even the other hero who Thundercats are looking to pick up, even if it may be one that's more on the tanky side. Anti-Mage is not going to be that hero, though.
Yeah, Ben out by Leviathan, potentially setting up for Medusa pick for Leviathan if they really want to go all greedy and throw the Juggernaut in that aggressive lane, or at least in the tri-lane with the other two supports, and have a Medusa in the mid lane. Definitely would be a terrible way to go about doing it, since Thundercats, even if they go super hard into the later portions of the game with this last pick, it would only be their one core.
And it's a core that's facing up against a Juggernaut, and Omnislash is a very great tool at just killing off that one core, whoever it may be. And you may have heroes that are able to survive that, but even if they do survive, it's not going to be convincingly so. So it's going to be a rough time for this last core of Thundercats. I think they should be going a little more aggressive early on. Going super deep into the late game is fine most of the time, but I don't really see a reason to right now.
Definitely. Well, they're going to have time to think about this last pick. A lot of reserve time left for them. How aggressive do you think they should be going?
Well, I mean, not like super hard late game like Spectre or Medusa. Probably something that's... Oh my god. You're not going to believe me, but I was going to say something at the level of Ember Spirit. I wasn't actually going to suggest Ember Spirit, though, but that level of carry, like someone who could fight early on, someone like a Slark would have also been really good. That level of late game potential, but also not trash early on.
Yeah, it's going to work well. A lot of magic damage amplification coming out from Thundercats. Ancient Seal is going to be getting quite a lot of usage. We'll have to see how effective this Ember Spirit's going to be. They have some ways to lock him down with the lift into Hoof Stomp, but outside of that, things are pretty limited for Leviathan.
And they're going to need more crowd control, and it looks like right now Centaur is probably... No, I mean, it's obviously always going to be a Blink Dagger game for Centaur, but up against the evasive heroes of Ember, Puck, and Brew, Leviathan are going to need more crowd control in their last pick, and they're still looking for a mid lane hero. Zeus probably not going to be that, even if it was available to them. They need someone who actually is able to disable, and well, Storm Spirit is that hero. Zip in from long range and get the pull for one, get an Orchid for another. Even versus his Spirit friend, the laning stage shouldn't be too bad, assuming mid, which is maybe not going to happen, but either way, Storm Spirit is that mid lane hero that Leviathan need to initiate and also to lock down the evasive heroes.
Yeah, right now I quite like Leviathan's draft. They have a lot of ways to deal with what Thundercats are bringing to the table, and throughout the entire game, we should be in for quite a slugfest from both sides.
And I mean, the late game for Ember Spirit is pretty devastating, although I think it's comparable to the late game of Juggernaut. The recent changes to Juggernaut making him a little bit more for me to get exactly a read on him, but yeah, I think they're definitely comparable as far as assuming they have even farm, but Ember Spirit is built to get a little more farm early on. Regardless, we're in the first game in Leviathan. They're on the Radiant, and they're going to be loading out into their lanes with Chibi Dota playing the Storm Spirit down bottom with Nushim. On the Rubik, Shredder is going to be playing the Juggernaut with Flying Zebra, technically standing in, I guess, wearing the tag, but he drafted for them, so he's the AA. And up towards top, Jenkins, who wants you to tweet him, guys, because he's lonely, at Jenkins Dota.
And on the dire side, it's going to be team with WWD on the Ember Spirit, supported by Joik on the Scarth Mage, and Ryuza on the Lion. Mid lane Brewmaster, handled by DK, and off lane Puck, going to be played by Guanzo. Jenkins going to be able to drop his early ward to spot out the rotations coming out from the supports, as well as give him some nice vision to keep himself safe in this offlane. And, well, it looks like it might be noticed already, as Brewmaster is going to be pinging out that spot.
And it's going to be the very sneaky move from the Leviathan side just to secure the bounty rune. I've seen so many teams, mostly on the Radiant side, just walk into this area not expecting this. I think most of the time you should expect there to be heroes there. The bounty rune is nice, especially the 0-minute one, but it's not really worth dying over. But it's not going to matter in this particular game. Bounty for the Juggernaut and Ember Spirit, and it's actually going to be Shredder who's moving towards the mid lane, expecting an easy matchup there, and versus Brewmaster, that is a pretty nice matchup for the Juggernaut.
Yeah, and it's going to open up a lot of space for the Storm Spirit to get his farm down in the bottom lane. 1v1, Puck versus Storm Spirit. Since he has the safe lane advantage, maybe slight advantage towards Storm if that was 1v1, but with supports, this should be completely fine and ensure him that he does get that Orchid up at a good click. And that's going to be really nice up against these mobile and very annoying heroes coming up from TTT.
Yeah, so we're going to have like usual hero matchups, even though they're in different lanes. The Storm Puck would most of the time be seen in the mid lane, and not seeing them there this time, it's not going to matter too much. Shredder over in mid lane is getting his face smashed in by DK, getting on the receiving end of those crits, and he hasn't used any mana just yet, whereas DK is almost completely out. It's mostly because of their loadout difference. Juggernaut has not gone for a fast bottle build at all. He's spent a lot of money into regeneration, whereas Brew already has his coming out to him. So DK using his early game mana, and he's actually using it pretty darn well, already getting a pretty nice lead over Shredder, at least trying to pressure him back at the very least.
Yeah, it's unlikely that Juggernaut's actually going to die, especially now that he drops the healing ward for a little bit more sustain, but still, it's going to be nice for the Brewmaster to exert that control. Now with the bottle up, DK is going to be able to more liberally spam those out. Centaur up top is taking quite a bit of frass, but under tower is getting some good experience.
Yeah, and that's actually pretty surprising. Right now, I mean, Thundercats are making sure that that experience is being sent towards the neutrals instead of sent towards the Radiant. So they're handling the lane right now, but that's already level 2 Centaur. It's not really a huge breaking level for the hero, but you don't really want to give the enemy unnecessary experience if you could avoid it. So Jenkins is going to be okay for now with his situation. Compare that to the Puck, who really doesn't have much of anything down towards bottom. He's going to get into a fight with Nusham. It's not really a fight that the Puck is going to want to take. He just wants the rune. But now he has to get the hell out of here. He's going to have to orb out, and that's more mana that Guanzo's using, although getting lifted back, he will jaunt away. And, well, fortunately for him, he's not going to die to these golems, although they will get aggroed.
Yeah, he is going to be able to survive, but still, it's a level 1 Puck that just really isn't able to accomplish much. They leave the Storm Spirit free farming inside the lane, and well, things are looking up for Leviathan, at least down towards bottom, and pretty much in all of these matchups, even after dropping so low in mid to start things off, Shredder has now picked up the slack in mid, and it's looking pretty even, and in fact, going to go strong in a DK, looking for some lucky crits.
It's the boot advantage for Shredder, which I believe he loaded out with, so getting that, and, well, I mean, it's not relevant anymore since Brewmaster has his boots, but either way, he is able to use Blade Fury very aggressively versus DK, should he feel needed to, but, even just right-clicking wars, the Brewmaster, though he does have the dodge and the crit, Shredder has crit and more armor and more base damage. So that's a pretty good combination if you're Juggernaut. It's not really a matchup that we see all the time. Might be seeing it more since the popularity, the spike of popularity for Juggernaut is, I'm sure, going to make teams experiment a little bit more with him. But this is generally going to be a Juggernaut-favored lane, as even if DK hits level 6, killing off Shredder is damn near impossible with Blade Fury to worry about.
Yeah, and even if this were any other hero without that magic immunity, you have the Centaur ultimate that's going to be coming up fairly soon for Centaur, at least at a good timing for Jenkins, that pretty much makes Split a lot harder to actually get kills. Still disruptive inside the teamfights with the Cyclone, but Boulder Toss just isn't as fast coming out of stun as you need it to be.
Yeah, by the time you usually can get a Boulder Toss out, but it flies in the air for what seems like a million years, and then it finally lands and doesn't really do enough. Up towards top, Jenkins, though, going to get initiated upon by the 2 supports. Going to turn around for a hoof stomp just to look imposing, I suppose, but he will not die. He will grab a Ring of Protection, I believe, and yeah, those are just Tranquils. So Jenkins not dying just yet. He's level 4, whereas Puck's still only level 2, down towards bottom, and once level 6 is cracked by Shibby, then the Puck has to really be careful in this lane. He might feel comfortable sitting here, but if he's caught by surprise with a quick ball lightning, it's all over for the Puck, even though he may get the orb out. Over towards mid, though, we have action brewing, as there's an Invis rune on the Rubik. However, there are 2 supports for TC.
Things could get hairy, but then again, Rubik is going to spot out this support rotation, at least from the Skywrath Mage, potentially. Well, now things are looking really hairy for Juggernaut as the spin's going to wear off. He gets a healing ward, but not going to save him as Joik draws first blood with one of Arcane Bolt. This Newsham just isn't able to contribute anything.
And the Juggernaut probably should have known that something was up, given that Jenkins was so far up the lane, yet he wasn't being punished by any supports. He's now going to get into a fight with the Ember Spirit, dropping each pretty low, but this will be a fight that the Ember Spirit will win, just being a level 6 hero versus a level 4 hero, doing most of the work there. So it's an early 2 lead for the Thundercats as they make a good rotation with their supports, and even in a lane that usually is going to be weakened by the presence or the lack of supports is going to get a kill. So that killing the Centaur probably shouldn't have happened. The mid lane gank is understandable, but overall 0-2 for TC.
Yeah, looking good for them. We still have that Storm Spirit farming away, but this makes up for the fact that their lanes weren't looking as great as maybe they should have. The Puck has managed to find himself a level 3 and is catching up to the Centaur, although slowly, currently one solid level behind.
Yeah, and that's going to be pretty painful moving forward. The Storm Spirit is actually rushing up in Orchid also, so it's kind of the job of the Storm Spirit in this game, as we said before, to lend the crowd control. So he's going to get that pretty quickly unless he gets silenced right here, and he will. He doesn't have ball lightning anyway, and Lion's closing in. Lion is really damn slow, but he will close in enough for the Hex. Here comes Newsham, which will lift up the Lion, but he will slam him down right into range of a spike. That probably wasn't the plan. Guanzo, looking to be the trade, though, in this scenario, is going to make it a 1-for-1. However, Storm Spirit is a lot more valuable to Leviathan than Puck is for the Thundercats, and it is going to be yet another rotation from these supports. And Lion, he's going to get closer and closer to that Finger of Death every single kill. And, well, I guess the same thing for the Skywrath Mage. Mystic Flare and Finger of Death is a hell of a lot of burst magic.
It is. They weren't accomplishing much up towards top, so I do like the move coming out from the sky as well as the line to put aggressive pressure onto the enemy team, and that's really what they've been doing throughout the entire game. Let's see. For now, Puck is going to resume his position down the bottom lane. We saw the power of Chilling Touch, but outside of that, we really haven't been able to see Leviathan get kills onto this Puck just because of how elusive the hero is. He was forced to play defensively throughout the laning stage, but at the very least he didn't die.
Yeah, and he's like playing defensively in such a way that he's getting experience, but he's not even trying to go for CS. He's actually going to go right into some trees with his orb. That's going to mean he lands into another attack from Rubik and Puck, Rubik and Storm, and Puck is going to die because of it. At a certain point, you are going to get picked off in this type of offlane, and it was honestly only a matter of time. I thought that point was going to be once Storm Spirit used level 6 to get the kill, but he didn't even need it apparently, so it's going to be Thundercats to lose their Puck down towards bottom, and Chibi, he's off to a pretty fast start despite dying, and maybe Thundercats make a return kill down bottom, but as long as Newsham is in the area with the telekinesis, it's going to be damn hard to kill off the Storm Spirit. If he sees them coming, he'll just lightning away.
You know, I'll have to see if they're going to be able to catch him off guard. Maybe, just maybe, he can be baited into going in onto the Puck if he throws out the Illusory Orb a little bit prematurely, but instead they're going to potentially look towards the supports. Smoked up with 3, it looks like they are going to bump into Flying Zebra, and this Ancient Apparition is not going to be long for this world. Smoke going to break, and Ancient Apparition find himself a spot through the trees, and that's going to save his life as they do catch out the Lion and potentially know that the other supports are rotating to rise up, bumped in by Newsham. They are going to drop the Stampede, trying to catch his kill. They'll pull him back, and with the Chilling Touch, the damage is immense, and that is going to be a 1 kill for Leviathan.
And over towards mid, fight brewing as the Brewmaster lands the stomp, throws the split as well. Shredder is going to be in a little bit of trouble, has Omnislash to buy a little bit more time, and another Cyclone to buy himself a little bit more time. Has a Healing Ward coming up, and if that Healing Ward sticks, then Shredder might get out of here alive. It's only a level 1 skill, but it will be enough. Concussive Shot will bring him lower, slow him down a little bit more, but DK runs out of ultimate duration, and Shredder is going to survive the Brewmaster split, even though he didn't even have Blade Fury, though. He still has his Omnislash, and Brewmaster now is no longer comfortable in this lane, especially with Jenkins messing with him in the upper river. Nothing Jenkins can really do about this, but Juggernaut is so far just doing very well in the mid lane, untouched, same as the Brewmaster. And it's actually mirrored laning situations all across the board for the most part, with the exception of Jenkins and Puck, who is being led by the Centaur.
Yeah, ever so slightly. Puck's going to find himself level 5 under the tower, but still no Dream Coil up. Jenkins might be in some trouble if there was any more support up for the Lion, but right now Jenkins is going to be comfortable. The Brewmaster and Skywrath Mage are still over inside their jungle, and they might look to go aggressive themselves. They have Newsham up towards top. The Rubik's going to spot out, going to be tagged by Concussive Shot, silenced up. They bring in Ryze off from the sidelines. He's going to get clapped down as Rubik gets caught out of position.
I don't really know what the plan was there. They didn't see anyone up on the top lane, so you can reasonably assume that they are going to be coming in from some sort of What the hell just happened there? Uh, well, the Ember Spirit just walks right past the Centaur. Not even going to try to go for that. I guess not worth his mana, I suppose. But over towards bottom lane, Guanzo's going to be, well, fine as well. He's going to get out of that Storm Spirit situation. But that was really weird up towards top. The Rubik putting himself in a really bad position without any significant backup.
Yeah, and that's why he's going to get punished. Shibby now sitting on both of the Oblivion Staffs. He's not going to back up for the power charge, which means we're well on our way towards an incredibly fast Orchid up for Shibby. And this bottom lane is, at this point, pretty unmanageable for the puck to actually sit down. He'll be harassed out very effectively. Leviathan are going to give some room towards the Ancient Apparition in mid, as they want to soak experience to get Flying Zebra as 6.
And that's always worthwhile for any team to do, really. He's going to have his level 6 soon. The Rubik is also, halfway to his level 6 from level 5. And he's got a pretty large stack to work with. 1, 2, 3, 4 stack right now. Shredder and Chibi going to get the benefits of the Healing Ward and a little bit of regeneration from Shredder's Morbid Mask. And they're going to clean that all up. That's a hell of a lot of extra golds going the way of Leviathan. That's almost level 6 of the Rubik, and Chibi is getting that much closer to his Orchid, though there is rotation in. Invisible Scarith Mage might catch Shredder off guard right now, unless the Brewmaster doesn't want in, and it looks like the Brewmaster doesn't. At least for now, Shredder is going to move off to the side, go towards Guanzo, who actually has a chance now of participating in a very easily won fight that might give him a little bit more experience, but seems like Thundercats don't want to go for this at all.
Right now, Scarlet Mage is just operating as a moving ward, not actually opening up on anybody. They will find the clap and now split onto Nushim. Jaunt away to the orb. He's going to be silenced up on the return end, and Nushim is going to need a boulder to the face and will fall. Everybody else from Leviathan is going to make themselves scarce as the Lion's going to be picked up by the Storm Spirit, showing off that Orchid for the first time.
Man, this is an 11-minute Orchid. Granted, this is, just an Orchid with brown boots and that's it. So no slowdown from Chibi, and this is something that you wouldn't have if you're going to be landing a mid lane Storm Spirit, because you kind of need the bottle to actually work out correctly, and that's going to be the Orchid delayed by that much more. So he's going to reap the benefits of a safe lane farm, and we'll see if he's able to do much more with it outside of just that one kill, and I suspect that he will. Shredder down towards bottom lane is going to charge forward with Stampede, gets silenced immediately though, has the Omni Slash still ready and waiting, but he can't get it out in time, and the puck is going to get out of there. Joik might get Omni Slashed. Oh no, he's going to be fine. The Juggernaut just can't find anyone to slash right now, and everyone else from Thundercat's going to back off. Tower, though, 18 HP, so it should be denied soon.
Definitely. Well, this tier 1 tower down in bottom, pressured by Leviathan on top of it all. With the Mask of Madness freshly up by Shredder, they can very easily push into this tower. They have the Healing Ward behind them as well for a little bit more support out of these creeps in particular, but TC, they're not going to have any of it. They're going to defend in force, bringing the Ember Spirit, looking to lock down the Jug. Spin TP is going to keep Shredder safe.
And that should keep him safe for pretty much the entire game. I don't think anyone is going to get a bash or anything like that, and nothing that they have is going to go through that. And the coil will eventually. I think if you Aghanims it, then it'll work out. But Nushim down towards bottom is going to get chained out of a TP. I feel like every single time it's Rubik. Like, he's been half to death so far. And that's bad for Leviathan since your hero is dying, but also good that it's better to be Rubik dying than Juggernaut.
Or pretty much any other hero for that matter. Looking towards mid is TCR sitting on a wraparound, although having committed the split previously, they aren't going to have that immediately, although it is coming off of cooldown in about 15 seconds. Well, that's going to be about all she wrote. Jenkins is getting some space up towards top as he saves up for the blink, and he's very close to it. Centaur is going to be getting a large jump in power very shortly.
And conversely, on the TC side, Blink Dagger on the puck is a distant dream right now. He's probably just going to go for upgraded boots before anything else. Over towards mid, though. Shredder going to get jumped. Here comes the Ice Blast in response, which will connect onto 2, letting the Ice effect on the Brewmaster, which isn't going to matter too much, but he's going to charge forward because he can. Going for Flying Zebra. Should not be a kill possible here for the Brewmaster. And he also has a blink out for when he really needs to. Leviathan, they might want to re-engage here if they could actually find someone, but that is a pretty big if. TC are long gone, but Split is down, so with the Split being down and with Centaur packing that Blink Dagger, this is actually a pretty big chance for Leviathan to make something happen.
Unfortunately, the Centaur is incredibly low and won't be there immediately. He's going to have to make the long trip all the way back towards base before he can show it off, but it is a decently timed one, and they'll put some pressure on the tier 1 tower even without Jenkins at the ready because they can. That blink clap split is really their best way to initiate silence on Shredder in mid with the Dreamcoil. Jump in, they'll be able to burst him down before he is able to get off anything. They'll pull back onto the puck. That's going to make it a 2-for-1 as Flying Zebra is focused down by the double damage DK. DK not going to be stomped up. WWD is stunned out by it, but still going to town. DK just has no fears in the world. Going to dive this tier 1 tower, going for a blink clap onto Shibby. Shibby's completely tapped out of mana. One more Finger of Death, and that's going to be the end of the Storm Spirit's life, making it a 4-1 in the favor of Thundercats.
Man, as if Juggernaut wasn't fragile enough, turning on Mask of Madness, getting sealed, and then getting a whole bunch of magical damage dumped on him. Couldn't get anything off, and, well, starting the fight 4v5, of course, less than ideal, obviously. And the Ice Blast was decent. The Centaur, though, I don't want to say he just botched the stomp, because really, even if he landed the stomp there, Ancient Apparition lives, and that's pretty much it. So Leviathan, they get a really sloppy execution on that fight, and that's mostly because they're putting a lot of stock into the tankiness and the survivability of this Juggernaut. Most of the time, he will be able to survive because of Blade Fury and Omni Slash, but so far we haven't seen an Omni Slash, and if he's silenced, then clearly you can't get anything out. So the Leviathan side really have to have different heroes in different places if they're going to take that fight the next time.
Yeah. When you have that much instant disable coming up from TC with the Hex from Lion and the Ancient Seal from the Scarlet Mage, things get really sketchy for the Juggernaut in particular. We now have a bottle as well as power treads up for the Storm Spirit, and they're going to smoke up with the initiation power that they have. Killing off this puck, and even the Lion, if they knew that Ryuza is there, should be a pretty easy task for them. The smoke is going to dissipate as they look towards the side. They'll drop a Remnant. That doesn't catch vision of anybody. Icy Vortex fishing for Guanzo, but they don't spot him yet.
The puck might have seen the frosty effect of the vortex. It seems like he did because he's backing off. But then Lion goes right back in, so I guess they didn't. Now Jenkins is going to reinitiate onto Ryuza. That's going to be a very easy kill for Shibby. Ball Lightning to get out. Blink Clap split for DK. Nothing to interrupt it there, and Flying Zebra is going to try to TP but gets rocked in the face. I don't know what he expected to happen there. Either way, it's a 1-for-1 support trade. Guanzo jumping forward and looking for someone to coil. Won't find anyone right now. Brewmaster Split is pretty much won TC every single fight that they've been in thus far. And that's really something that you could expect to happen whenever you pick up a Brewmaster. So Brewmaster definitely having a lot more impact than the Juggernaut in this game. Even though Juggernaut is technically out-farming the Brewmaster, he's just not doing anything that's comparable. And Jenkins, he's going to get caught, stunned, dodged actually by a quick sleight of fist. Jenkins barely walks out of there alive, and he's going to be fine. But man, this Ember Spirit is also dishing. So, I mean, you have to fear the Brewmaster, you got to fear the Ember Spirit if you're Leviathan. It's a difficult time to be on the Radiant.
It really is. Jump in. They are going to get the pullback as well as the Orchid onto WWE. That's the end of Ember Spirit's life. Going to put an end to his happy days up in the top lane. And this is the power of the jump coming out from Leviathan. I'd like to be able, or to see them be able to utilize that more. But for now, that's going to be all she wrote. 5 versus 4. It looks like TC aren't really interested in taking this fight.
I really like how TC are playing. Though they do lose their Ember Spirit, you got to react really quickly if you want to save him, especially with the triple Remnant jump from the Rubik that he stole. But they're making sure to not fight without their Brewmaster Split, and really there's no reason to. Once the Ember Spirit gets his Battle Fury, once he gets a crit and maybe a couple of items on top of that, then yeah, you could probably fight without the Brewmaster Ultimate and be fine in doing so. But right now, Leviathan, they still have not used an Omni Slash, and Thundercats, they're respecting that fact. They're going to go and try to dodge fights as best they can, but then in 20 seconds, they're going to try to take a fight with his Brewmaster Ultimate. They're playing it exactly as they should.
Yeah, and this is really sad for Leviathan that they haven't been able to find an Omni Slash. It's kind of why you go for the Mask of Madness build, just to be able to assassinate heroes with the Omni. Remnant going to be thrown out by WWD defensively. Tier 1 tower up towards top has already fallen, but TC will find themselves a pretty favorable tower trade as they take away the one in mid.
Jenkins going to jump in onto Ryuza, Stampede, and a couple right clicks going to kill off the Lion. Here comes the Ember Spirit, though. Chains going to miss, and Jenkins now should be free and clear, though he doesn't have a TP. He will have a Blink, and he will dodge the clap, and that should buy himself some free passage out. Yeah, and it should be over towards bottom lane. Shibby's going to find the puck, however, who still just doesn't have anything. Is still working towards Blink, up towards top, Ice Blast onto DK. There's a split here, but he can't get it off if he's perma-stunned. Omni Slash will put him into shadow range, and that will kill him off in the end. Here comes the Ember Spirit, though. Wants to get chains, but he, again, doesn't have enough mana, and Ryuza is just way too slow. So a very easy kill for Leviathan, and they should make it out safe and sound. This puck really needs to get his Blink Dagger going, else he's pretty much food 24/7 to the Storm Spirit. And even when he does get Blink, it's not going to change that much.
No, especially if he's able to find a favorable angle to cancel out that Blink Dagger. We do see that big spree ended by the Brewmaster, and it's going to be very good for Leviathan, especially if they're able to finally use their Omni Slash. And it is a very powerful spell if you actually find that angle, and Juggernaut is moving and attacking incredibly fast with this Power Treads, Yasha, and Mask of Madness build.
Yeah, this guy is absolutely dishing, but it only works well, this build, if you are going to be able to dodge the Silence and dodge the Hex, which so far Shredder hasn't really been lucky enough to do. Ancient Apparition, though, is going to find himself a Hand of Midas, and that is actually a pretty big item for him. And of course, not going to impact the game right now, but down the line, an Aghanim Scepter ultimate from Ancient Apparition can randomly win you fights, especially when you have the Storm Spirit running around who doesn't have to commit on as hard onto his enemies in order to get kills. And of course, the Juggernaut will be able to dip people below that shatter threshold if he's just jumping around with Omni Slash. So Ancient Apparition ultimate, though it's not denying any healing this game, it's still going to get some serious work done with the Midas, even though it may be on the later end of an item pickup.
I'd personally really like to see Shredder go for a BKB this game. I think they just have so many ways to lock down this Jug that could be really good. Up towards top, they get the silence on the WWD, but Ancient Apparition Ice Blast not going to land. Now Shibby potentially in some trouble. No zip away, and he's under his tower. Centaur ultimate trying to get them in position for this fight. Is going to buy Nushim a little bit of space, but Hex up over the sides. It looks like Rubik again is going to die, and they're even going to commit the split for this one as they look for a little bit more, but that little bit more isn't going to be found as a zip away and blink away from Storm Spirit and Centaur respectively. I mean, it's just one pickoff for TC, but then again, they'll get a tier 1 tower after the fact.
Once again, it's always the Rubik, and it's TC only taking fights when they have the ultimate up from the Brewmaster. It looks like it is going to be a BKB build from the Brewmaster, so he's going to be able to get that ultimate off 100% of the time, although I don't really think that's been a problem for him thus far. Rubik is the only one who could really interrupt that decently, and that hasn't been happening. Jenkins, though, going to get caught with the Mystic Flare chains. That Centaur War Runner, the wrong place at the wrong time, and TC maybe mind gaming Leviathan a little bit in this top lane. So far, they've been backing up every single time Brewmaster Ultimate is down, but that one time they don't, they're going to get picked off until DK also walks a little bit too far in, but there's still backup here. Storm Spirit's silence needs a little bit of help, but he will get picked off. WWD is going to get his Spirit stolen by Nushim, but they've already taken 2 extra kills up at this top lane. Tower push probably not too feasible for TC, but they're just farming heroes up towards top, and in the meantime, Shredder going to take a tower down towards bottom, so it's not for free, but still, Thundercats, they're just playing with Leviathan on this top lane.
Yeah. Still, the Juggernaut and the Storm Spirit have been able to maintain their net worth advantage over their counterparts on the enemy side, and the map efficiency from Leviathan has been really good this game. Even though TC have been fighting well, is it enough to actually carry them through this game? Not so sure about that one. Juggernaut's currently sitting on 3,000 gold, and if he does go for the BKB that I was talking about earlier, TC really don't have a way to bring him down. The physical damage isn't up to snuff yet. They have the Battle Fury and the Ember Spirit, but that's about it.
And the Battle Fury is going to snowball the Ember into that next item and then the next item following, but right now it is Leviathan still with a pretty comfortably farmed Storm Spirit and Juggernaut, and these are heroes that can just run a fight just by themselves, and as long as TC allow the Juggernaut and Storm Spirit to run free, if they don't actually tag them with the Hex or the Silence or anything else crowd control related, then they're really asking for trouble, TC. So though they are doing pretty well so far, it's going to be still a difficult climb as WWD is going to get jumped by an Omni Slash and Shibby. Wow, it seems like that Juggernaut just came out of nowhere. Of course, when you move at 497 movement speed, it is going to seem like that all the time. Storm Spirit also using his ball lightning to get in with no Ember Spirit alive. TC, they know for sure that Leviathan are in this Roshan pit, but they probably don't want to do anything about it.
Yeah, there really isn't much that they can do since they still don't really have anybody in position. This is going to be Roche going the way of Leviathan with the Healing Word. It's very reliable for them to take it. BKB now for the Storm and an instant smoke coming out from Leviathan. Even though they had to commit their Omni Slash for that Ember Spirit pickup, their ability to consistently take fights is quite a bit better than TC.
Yeah, and Shibby will always have ball lightning, and his mana situation is looking pretty good. Even though they may not have the Omni Slash to instantly kill off someone, they have enough stunning follow-up so that they could kill pretty much whoever is going to get jumped by the Orchid and by the pull of the Storm, and that person might be DK over towards mid if he gets a little bit too close, but no, he's going to play things very far away. Fire Spirit randomly being thrown by Rubik to spot out a couple heroes. Ice onto Ryuza. Now the BKB is up on Storm's going to annihilate the line with the help of Centaur, landing a 3-man stomp, and going on to DK. They're going to pull him back. Split is not there. He does not have a buyback either. BKB on Shibby being huge there, and TC, they instantly buy back with their Lion, but I think that was more of an impulsive thing than anything else. Leviathan, they take a really nice team fight, taking 3 heroes down without having to worry about any sort of response. Plus, they get a tier 2 tower after having taken already a Roshan. and Leviathan, they're kicking back really hard towards TC, and as long as TC aren't the ones getting the initiation in, as long as their Brewmaster is being denied his split, TC's ability to fight right now is severely lacking.
Although I usually don't say that support buybacks mean that much, this line was saving up for a Blink Dagger, and that is going to delay it for quite some time in TC. They just haven't been able to keep up that fighting momentum. I do like how they were playing 5-10 minutes ago, but right now it's Leviathan to control the pace of the game with the vast amount of jump that they have.
And the Storm Spirit on Leviathan, he still is with enough mana to be a threat, and if he runs out of mana, he'll just suicide and get a free mana pool from the Aegis and then continue the good fight. And of course, Juggernaut has been holding on to Omni Slash for a good portion of this game. He now has it back up again after using it down towards bottom. Leviathan, they are without their Ancient Apparition right now, but that of course just means the artillery is going to hit in that much larger of an AoE. They're going to go for yet another tower in TC. There's no trade in sight for them. They don't really have fast pushing heroes, and the lanes aren't working well for them either. This top lane is going to be taken so easily that that Leviathan rather, might feel inclined to just test the high ground. Actually, they're going to think about it, but instead decide to split off and be happy with the fact that all the outer towers of TC are now dead.
Long zip in from the Storm Spirit as he goes towards mid. He's able to pull back WWP, and the physical damage isn't going to be enough. It will, as he picks up a solo kill. Double damage on the Storm Spirit is absolutely disgusting.
There's really no rune that's bad on the Storm Spirit except for Illusion. Like, double damage at this stage in the game is probably better than regen. I mean, it's hard to say. One helps you kill the targets faster, and one lets you be pretty much invulnerable while you're fighting. But either way, you're going to be getting a lot of action going if you find either one of those runes. And Shibi's also packing enough mana to jump in, although it doesn't have the sight, so he won't do so. Ember Spirit being picked off by Storm Spirit like that is pretty much a sign of things to come within the next upcoming minutes. Ember Spirit needs a BKB in this game if he's going to survive against that type of initiation, and that really isn't the item that he wants to go for right now.
No, it definitely isn't. For Shibi, the item he's going to be going for is a Bloodstone. He's well on his way towards it. Leviathan, even though they aren't going to be able to push high ground or take any other towers because they're all already down, they've still been able to utilize this Aegis and just allow Shibi to completely go ham with it.
And he is still working with the Aegis for a little while longer. It might not ultimately get value in that he will get a reincarnation out of it. But even if it doesn't, like, he's been playing fairly recklessly and fairly aggressively because he has the Aegis backup, so that is value in and of itself. 15-14 right now in Leviathan. How are they going to breach the high ground? I don't really think they will easily be able to do it without a refreshed Aegis, so like a new Aegis for more time, or without having first taken a team fight closer to the TC side of the map. That is very convincingly won by Leviathan.
Yeah, I think that's definitely fair to say. But then again, things are still looking good for them. Long zipping in mid from Shibi. Let's see what the Aegis timer is going to be. It's going to be expiring just about now, so he's going to be getting a refresh. Actually, in a minute, excuse me. Yeah, I actually just can't read.
Reading is hard, man. Reading is so hard. But hopefully we don't have to read too much in this game, as it looks like right now, Leviathan, they're looking to make another aggressive play. They're grouping up as if they want to smoke without smoke, so that's actually not how that works. Actually, no, they do have smoke. They just don't want to use it. They're just going to go around and assert map pressure, and that's fine as well. I don't really know what they're waiting for, if anything. And the Juggernaut is stacked. He's got 4,000 gold, Manta-style, Mask of Madness. He's ready to go right now. Centaur is also ready to go. Maybe Pipe is worth waiting for, but the magic damage of TC, yeah, I think it's worth waiting for a Pipe. That should just about be it, though. Pipes and BKBs, and then maybe go time. Maybe the Ancient Apparition Ultimate for an Aghanim upgrade, but that's also going to take quite a long time.
Yeah, he's about 600 gold away, but that's a minute or two on his support. Well, as far as next item for Juggernaut's concerned, I'd like to see a Basher, maybe even picked up by Shredder, or something even more defensive. Not sure it really matters. This Juggernaut is really dishing at this point.
Basher means that he'll have an answer that goes through the Brewmaster BKB, which DK and the rest of TC really are going to be relying upon this. If this Brewmaster, for whatever reason, gets jumped and he can't get the BKB off, and he's perma-stunned with the Basher, then it's just all over. Shredder is going to smell something coming. He's going to spin TP out. Bottom lane, Jenkins, going to blink into the trees, but he will blink straight into a missed Sleight of Fist, though. Wow. That was so close. I thought that hit.
I did too. It was just on the edge, but apparently Jenkins was outside of it, and he saw that go through, and just an instant TP after that misses. So he's going to keep himself scarce as Leviathan barely escape from that smoke gank. We do now have the blink up from the Lion, so maybe they can get the jump on the Leviathan before they jump them, but it really feels like that's going to be just not reliable to bank on. Leviathan are occupying the enemy woods, and the status quo is just looking good for them. They're able to keep up the farm, whereas TC just aren't getting very much, in particular on this Ember.
Yeah, but TC, by going down to the bottom lane, that's also the type of play that they need to make right now. Keep themselves at a number advantage and just try to get some pickoffs and try to get a little bit more map control following those pickoffs, because all the tier 2 towers is still alive for Leviathan. Of course, it's only a good strategy, and it's that's all it is. If it doesn't work, it's not really going to be benefiting your team. But they do have a Lion now with Hex and a Blink, so this is maybe Thundercats' time to make something happen with a little bit of surprise initiation.
Leviathan do have that complete Aghanim Scepter up, Bloodstone up for the Storm Spirit, and Pipe for the Centaur. These are all of the big items we were talking about a minute ago, and I think it's time for them to group up and push down a lane, or at the very least, look for a pickoff.
Yeah, and Roshan's going to be respawning soon, so you might as well farm up a little bit longer. I don't know if they could actually get anything with, let's say 2 minutes worth of farm. Centaur probably can't. Storm, Ancient Apparition probably can't. Juggernaut might be able to. Sitting on 2,600 gold really depends on what he wants to go for, but going for Roshan or taking a team fight near Roshan seems like that's going to be what happens next in this game, unless Leviathan want to go right now, and that's reasonable as well. They're going to smoke and head up towards the north. Unfortunately for Leviathan, this is not where they're going to find anyone to kill, unless Thundercats feel particularly gracious and go into their own jungle right now. But yeah, Leviathan aren't going to find anyone with this, but maybe they're just going to go for a little bit of pressure on the high ground regardless.
They probably would be able to force Thundercats back. All 5 man of the team are down towards bottom. DK farming out in the lane. A very similar move as to what we saw Leviathan doing towards mid, but yeah, right now, Leviathan are going to start pushing out this lane and look towards the tier 3 tower, and should be able to defend their tier 2 as well. Some way or another, it looks like one team's going to be forced back.
And I'm pretty sure it's not going to be Leviathan. They have a Juggernaut with, almost max attack speed, or, a lot of attack speed, let's say. So good luck for the Thundercats to actually make the play and force the Leviathan team back by trying to race through tier 2s, then through tier 3s, whereas Leviathan just have to take down a tier 3 and then Raxes. So it is going to be the force back of the Thundercats, and unfortunately for Leviathan, this would be the perfect time to kill Roshan, but it's a little bit of a longer respawn timer. It's in fact one of the longer respawn timers, so it's more downtime for now, more time for these teams to get some items together. By the time Roshan is up, will TC have anything additional to fight with? Seems like that is also not going to be coming anytime soon. Puck maybe is going to have a Yule Scepter, but I don't really know if that's going to be a huge enough item to really make a difference.
Yeah, Ryza was on a Rambo mission under enemy lines. He's not going to accomplish anything with it, and then again, he's not going to die as well. For now, Leviathan are going to be grouped up as we wait for that Roshan to respawn.
Do you think you go for an Abyssal Blade here as Shredder, or do you play it a little bit safe? Because he doesn't really have that many ways of surviving outside of a Manta style. If he gets hexed, he could still get very easily burst down. So, do you get like a little bit more effective HP? Probably not a Butterfly this game, or at least not now, but I don't know. I don't know if you should go for Abyssal here.
Yeah, I still think that BKB would be a solid choice for Shredder. It really depends on how YOLO he wants to play it.
I mean, you already have a Mask of Madness, so full YOLO? 100% YOLO?
Maybe.
Maybe 80% YOLO. 80% seems good.
Yeah, I like 80%. Let's see what Shredder's
I don't know what that means, though.
Yeah, it might be Abyssal Blade, it might be something a little bit more defensive.
Like, Eye of Scotty, is that 80? That's not even... That's actually a really safe item. It's not like Heart, which is like 0% YOLO. Eye of Scotty's like 50%.
I'm not sure if there is an 80% YOLO item.
There has to be. Hold on, this is important. I'm pretty sure Butterfly is that item.
Okay.
It gives you a little bit of survivability. Very little versus what TC have. Like, evasion's not going to be that relevant at all. But it's mostly damage. So I think that's it. I think it's Butterfly. It's the 80%.
Fair enough.
And that is important for everyone, I'm sure. Roshan is alive, although now I'm pretty sure that's not going to be the case for much longer.
Definitely not. Mask of Madness activated by the Juggernaut. He's going to be chopping away at this poor Roshan, shooting for upwards of 500 at this point, and this is going to be a double life, presumably, for Shibby.
And Aegis on the Storm Spirit will let him perform pretty much as aggressively as he possibly would want. And then, of course, since the second Roshan, no cheese just yet, but that will be happening in just a couple of minutes if the game is still going by then. 15 and 14 right now, and Leviathan, they're going to tend to their top lane, maybe buy an Abyssal Blade as they, maybe transition to the mid lane, or, 80% YOLO with the Butterfly is also good too. For right now, Leviathan, this is pretty much their best chance at breaking high ground. It might get better once they wait for an additional Roshan, like farm up until then. They'll still have a reasonable chance, but they're going to start up towards top, dive deep, Shibby. He wants DK. He's going to get silenced, though, has a BKB. If here comes an Ice Blast, which will connect onto only the Lion right now. The Shibby, though, is not going to stop. He's going to kill off the Lion in the end. It's going to be Jenkins to occupy DK's time. Thinking about the split, but really there's no one good to split onto right now as Jenkins and Shredder finally arrive. It's going to be just the Lion to die. Leviathan, they used quite a bit of mana on this Storm Spirit, but he has a regen rune, so he doesn't really care about that. He'll be back up to full in no time. And Leviathan now are that much closer to the TC base with only one less hero to worry about.
And even though it is just a support pickoff, that line is pretty crucial for TC's fight. Getting that Blink Hex off of the table isn't to be underestimated, but then again, since he is a support, he'll be back up in 20 seconds. It is going to be BKB for the Jug, as that's going to be flying out, and I think this really is the best time for them to go high ground with a 10-second BKB on Shredder. Leviathan could probably just stand up at the tier 3 and hit at it without much threat.
If they see anyone right now, then I'm pretty sure Shibby is going to pull that trigger and go in. He's going to do his best with the small amounts of vision that you get from those remnants. An Observer Ward in the base right now for the Leviathan side would be huge. Just getting a read on where the enemies are, choosing your targets. In 5 seconds, Shredder will have his BKB and Shibby will have his refresh. There we go. BKB now up on Storm Spirit. That is still 8 seconds. And they're going to pipe in. So they're going to make a play for this one. WWD going to get jumped. Ice Blast going to land as well. He has a Spirit to jump to, but not if he's dead. DK in the middle of everything right now is going to get the split off, but can he handle this all by himself? Because the rest of his team just isn't performing right now. Shredder is going to man-fight the Brewlings, and he's going to not lose any HP in doing so. It's going to be Guanzo to drop first to Shibby. And then chasing forward for a couple more of these aspects. It's going to be the Centaur Warren to get a kill on the Skywrath Mages. They're going to try to kill off the rest of this Brewmaster. It's going to be Shibby just trying to die right now, and he will be successful in doing so. Aegis going to give him a full mana pull. DK, right, returning back to the fight right now. But it's only him and the Ember Spirit right now. And even though WWD is doing some pretty decent damage, if he gets silenced and jumped, this is a bad place to be in. If you're Ember, jump in, follow up from Jenkins. Double Edge going to connect onto 2, will get the kill. Now onto the tower they go. Shredder has 5 seconds till he has a healing ward, and if that actually is able to be dropped, then just like that, all of TC's work is going to count for nothing. As Leviathan, yes, they're going to drop the healing ward, and look at the regen. They're going to be back up to full in no time. Jenkins and Shredder don't have that much mana, but it doesn't matter because they're taking Raxes.
And that's GG called out by TC, feeling they can't really fight up against that, and even though the kill score is close, doesn't actually matter. Huge advantage towards Leviathan after that, and I don't think you can really blame them for calling it.
Yeah, it's certainly a back and forth game. TC having an even shot for the most part for most of this game, but just having a Storm Spirit, getting such a fast Orchid, and the Juggernaut farming very well on top of that. It's hard to come back for that if you're TC, but they have another shot in game 2.
Well, thanks for watching. We will have game 2 coming up shortly, so don't go anywhere. That'll be up momentarily.